You are in a corridor that eats light. The floor is wet and stings your feet. Iron cuffs burn your wrists where the edges have carved deep, angry rings into the skin. When the door grinds open, you aren't welcomed in. You're shoved into a breathing pile of bodies. Air turns to metal and rot. Hope shuts its eyes. This is not justice. It's a machine designed to grind people down. In the Middle Ages, prisons didn't aim to reform anyone. They existed to terrify. For women, terror was built to be colder, longer, and more humiliating. The sentence stretched until suffering became the point. Cells sank beneath castles, monasteries, and city halls. Respectable places above, relentless places below. The deeper the steps, the wetter the walls, the colder the stone, the less you were treated as human. Women were packed into the lowest levels, where daylight never lived and compassion rarely bothered to knock. Picture a room hardly bigger than a closet and then pack it with 10, 15, maybe 20 people. There's nowhere to lie down. Sleep happens standing, slumped, or crushed beneath someone else's ribs. Privacy is a myth. What the body has to do, it does right there. Straw becomes a sour sponge of waste, layered for months until it's more filth than bedding. Cuts don't close. They ooze and shine. Even guards hover at the threshold because the smell fights back. Food arrives like an insult, a clay bowl of spoiled oats, a crust that collapses into mold, water that looks like a dare. Drink and your gut ties itself in knots. Don't and your mouth deserts you. People don't starve all at once here. They fade a little more every day until the body forgets how to ask. Clothes rot in the damp. New garments never come. What you wear becomes what you are. Torn, foul, then gone. The cold travels the floor like a predator, swallowing fingers and toes, and when cloth fails, nakedness becomes another weapon. Humiliation sticks to the skin harder than dirt. Power has a face here, and it isn't interested in the law. Abuse becomes routine. Younger women are singled out, older women beaten until silence is the safest language. Testimony means nothing from the mouth of a prisoner, because the court has already priced it at zero. Pregnancies happen, births happen, deaths happen more. A baby meets the world in a puddle of blood and stone dust, and if that child lives, the world does not always make room. Some are taken, traded, or sent to institutions that use small hands for big labor. Disease doesn't need an invitation. Plague blooms in corners that never see day. Breath carries sickness, one face to the next. A scratch turns into a wound, turns into a verdict. Lice and fleas thrive in the heat of bodies stacked together. There is no doctor, no balm, only a clock that won't say how much time is left. Restraint is its own kind of torture. Iron collars, anklets, and wrist rings carve perfect circles of pain that never fully heal. Ankles swell into stone. Wrists crack under weight. Some are locked into cages too short to stand in and too cramped to lie down. Geometry engineered for agony. Shackles are sized to punish, biting into blood flow until parts of you go quiet and never return. Darkness is another jailer. Days pass without a dawn to measure them. Minds tilt and slide. Some talk to walls because walls are the only things that answer back. Some forget their names. Spectators are brought in to watch because cruelty, when viewed from the safe side of a door, becomes entertainment. Executions aren't always quick. Women accused of witchcraft or heresy meet a fire that is fed in stages, so pain lasts long enough to teach a public lesson. Others learn the meaning of drowning inch by inch, bound to chairs lowered into black water while a crowd studies every struggle. Fear is cheaper than mercy, and cheaper gets chosen. Pregnancy should have been a shield. Often it was on paper, but loopholes were left wide. Beatings force miscarriages that are counted as penalties, not tragedies. Births happen on stone without help. The cold takes those the iron doesn't. Faith visits the cells, but comfort isn't the mission. Confessions are pressed out with promises that bend and break. Admit guilt and your words become fuel. Refuse and silence becomes proof. Either way, the system eats. Records survive in fragments. A priest note, a traveler's disgust, a court's board line in a ledger. Put the pieces together and the pattern is clear. This wasn't random cruelty. It was policy. A belief that women were weaker and more sinful became a license to humiliate and destroy. Laws written by men measured women as property, and the cell enforced the measurement. Survival doesn't equal freedom. Bodies leave bent, starved, scarred. Minds carry nights that won't end when the sun rises. There's no support waiting, just doors that close and eyes that slide away. Many end up on streets where choices are thin and luck is shorter than breath. The legacy of these places is a quiet warning. A society can call itself civilized and still build rooms designed to erase people. Most of the women who suffered here weren't monsters. Many were poor, desperate, inconvenient, or simply unprotected in a world that didn't value their voices. Their pain wasn't an accident. It was organized, and it worked as intended. If learning what happened in these cells changed how you see the past, share what shocked you most and what hidden chapter you want explored next.